Aloha! This video is about how to treat an animal bite if you live in the woods. Now, obviously, I have the upper hand from those who live in the woods because I have access to these fine supplements to help me out. So to help me clean up this wound, I'm going to use a little bit of emu oil, a little bit of silver, and some echinacea extract mixed with ginger, yarrow, and elder root. This one's been fermenting since March 11th of, I believe, 2018 or 17. Can't move this arm. Dog bite is taking its toll on me, on my mobility. So, alright, we have here a few ingredients to help us clean a bite. There's the hydrogen peroxide, which will do a lot of antibacterial cleanup. And then you can pack the open flesh with silver. This is like a replacement to the antibiotic cream. This emu oil is actually a very good penetrating moisturizer, transdermal carrier, and anti-inflammatory. So I can mix this in with some of the echinacea extract in here, some of that liquid, pack that on top as well. And then there's always cleaning it out with antibacterial soap. Now, if you're in the woods, you might not have access to any of these things. So, the other option you'll have is plants. You can take leaves of plants, crumple them up, soak them in water, and then pack your wound with the plant material. You're going to want to make sure you have the right plant because some plants will be negative, such as if you accidentally grabbed poison ivy, then you're not going to have a great reaction. A lot of plants will just be neutral and they won't extract much, like such as this bamboo might not extract a lot if I put the leaf in here as a poultice. However, it'll at least help keep it clean and keep debris from entering into the wound. And if you don't have plants, hopefully you have water or at least mud. And if you have mud, then you can actually take some clean mud and pack that in the wound as a short-term thing to help keep dirt and debris that's negative from getting in there, and the mud as it dries will actually help draw things out of your wound. And then there's always bandaging it, which you can use a Band-Aid. If you don't have a Band-Aid, then you can rip up cloth. And when you rip up cloth, you're going to want it to be in a hot dog shape form usually. So say you have a t-shirt that you don't need, you can tear the t-shirt in half, wrap that around the wound after you've cleaned and dressed it. And another thing that you can do to help get the swelling to go down that's in there, if your ingredients aren't helping you reduce the swelling, then you can always grab an ice pack. Ice pack here, another one here. Don't eat those bad for your stomach. But a lot of animals are probably only going to bite you out of self-defense. In this case, my dog was trying to act territorial around me with another dog, and the other dog and him, Buddy, my little dog, decided to start biting and barking and snapping at each other. So I intervened and, well, I got bit. Pretty good bite. Broke the skin. Thankfully, you can see some of these other marks, like in the middle of my wrist there. That's where a tooth did not puncture through. A couple more teeth there that didn't get to go through. Bottom of the jaw, only 1 or 2 teeth made it in. Looks like probably just 1 tooth made it in and then dragged a little bit. And a tooth tried to make it in there as well, but thankfully didn't. But this is all swollen. I don't know if you can tell, but I can hardly move this thumb. Everything inside, all the tendons and muscles are swollen. So I'm going to want to be doing a lot of ice. And from what I was told by a woman in the healthcare industry, you want to do 20 minutes on and 20 minutes off of ice. That way you can refreeze your ice pack for one in between, but you also give your arm a break so you can keep the blood circulation flowing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, when you're choosing your mud, if you're going to use mud, you're going to want to make sure it's very clean. It's going to be hard to do that for a lot of people, but you'll just have to use your best judgment possible. So if there's animal tracks in the area, or say you come up to a plant and it looks like maybe something's been peeing around there or pooping around there, then you're not going to want to use the mud in that area. If there's been a lot of garbage dumped in that area, a lot of chemical spills or anything, you might not want to use that mud. You might want to try to find somewhere more secluded. And the mud and leaf dressing idea are only a temporary addressing of the wound. I don't recommend that to be your permanent go-to. That's more of just an emergency field dress to just keep you moving, especially when you're in the woods. You don't usually have the pleasures of walking to a doctor's office. If you're, say, homeless, then you don't have the money either to get past the front door. So there's one way of treating a wound of an animal bite. You're going to want to watch it carefully, clean it often, at least 2-3 times a day. Make sure the infection doesn't, make sure an infection doesn't begin. And if it does, then you can always go to an emergency room as a last resort to get antibiotic treatment. And, well, I believe that'll conclude this animal bite video. Until next time, aloha, and check us out at pci.farm, where you can learn more about our efforts to help grow orphanages. And that is all. Peace.